Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Smash that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out on Reddit and Discord as well. And leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
Winnipeg Jets just finished their game. We'll have some Winnipeg Jets talk coming up by Fahrenheit airbrushing. But let's start with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the CFL. The award nominees for each team has been released. Let's go over the Bombers list. Tell me who you think will move on to the West to represent the West out of the Bomber nominees. Let's start up top with the MOP. Brady Oliveira getting the nod for Winnipeg. We've had discussions for the past 3-4 weeks, maybe, of who will it be, Caleros and Oliveira or Oliveira. Oliveira was picked. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was a little bit shocked still because usually the quarterback ends up getting still the glory kind of than anyone else, but it's totally deserved for Oliveira in this case, man. He's close to 2,000, and I think that's probably why he's going to end up playing tomorrow as well, just to get over that 2,000 total yards. So very well deserved for him, and congratulations to him on getting that.
No surprise. Yeah, 2 yards away from 1,500, 18 yards away from 500 receiving, and 20 from 2,000 all-purpose. Truly deserving. He's been beast mode. Remember Milson Jones back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of Milson Jones, just his power back. If Milson Jones is given like full-time back, he would have been a dominant back. Like when he retired, I think he was a leading active running back or whatever, rushing yards in the league. So he's just dominant like he was, just a force.
Yeah, and finished his second, or not finished his second. He's now in second for the Canadian all time, right? Just behind, not just behind Cornish. Cornish was still, what, 300 yards more or
18
so?
something.
Yeah, Cornish had a crazy year that year. So
That was insane.
but hey, maybe Oliveira can get there at some point. Still young. What is this, third year in the league? Something like that?
Fourth year? Because
Yeah.
he's sitting behind Harris for at least 2.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And he also got a nod for Canadian. Like, there's no debate there either, I don't think.
Poor Dembski in a way, kind of, because he obviously had a very good season as well, right? But there's another Canadian on that team that had an even better season. So props to Dembski as well for his season. But Oliveira is just, like you said, he was beast, man. He was beast mode.
All-time performance. Do you think he'll move on both of these to represent the West? Like Canadian, I think probably for sure.
Yeah, if Vernon Adams didn't finish the season the way he did, then maybe there's a possibility, especially that he got benched in their last game. That kind of, to me, takes him out of almost the West Division MOP race. So yeah, I'm going to give Oliveira. I think Oliveira will make it in both these most outstanding and most outstanding Canadian.
Ooh, I might take Vernon Adams for most outstanding. Man, he almost got to 5,000 yards. Like if Dane Evans was quarterbacking that club, it'd be totally different. Like he had a great year. It's hard because it's most outstanding, not most valuable.
Yeah.
I think they'll go with the quarterback, though. I think the West will go with the quarterback. Let's move on to offensive line. Jamarcus Hardrick getting the nod. Thoughts there on what he calls the Stanley Bryan Award?
Yeah, that was a bit surprising there as well, because like you said, it's been Stanley Bryant all the time. And I can't remember where I saw it today. Someone was advocating even it could have been Kolinkowski kind of thing. But yeah, a bit surprising on the hard. Not surprising, but mostly because Bryant's won it quite a bit. You're kind of shocked by that. But Hardrick's had a very good season and deserves it as well.
Yeah, it's a left tackle. It's hard to get any media attention if you're not left tackle.
Yeah.
And he's just been like, I think he also could make this. There can be an absolutely good argument made for him going forward in the West. Bombers have number 1 in points, number 1 net offense, first in rushing, second in sacks allowed. So I think he will actually move forward as a Western nominee.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think he'll be the guy representing the West for sure.
Thoughts on Willie Jefferson winning the defense for the Bombers?
Again, yeah, it's a good choice as well for the Bombers as well. I mean, he led the team with he ended up with 11 sacks, right? After starting off hot, 8 sacks in the first 7 games or whatever it was. But strong season, pass knockdowns rate was high up there. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's either it's usually him or Big Hill kind of thing, right? So yeah, Jefferson, it's a good choice for Willie Jefferson.
He's a difference maker on the defense, and those pass knockdowns. I said early in the league that he's probably the most dynamic defensive player. And I think I'll make this claim that Willie Jefferson is probably the best pass blocker on the line in professional football, not just CFL, professional football. He can just time those. He has a wingspan. He's a great athlete. With that said, I think Betts is going to win for the West on the defensive player.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It always amazed me with Willie Jefferson that he never got a better opportunity or a longer opportunity in the NFL. Like you say, with that wingspan, like that's crazy, his wingspan. Like
Yeah.
that's way bigger than most or a lot of the guys in the NFL that played for so long too. So, but yeah, Matthew Betts, what is 17 sacks he ends up with here?
17 or 18 now, yeah.
I know he was streaky at times and really, took off in some games. That first Bomber game, and then the second Bomber game, he was non-existent. But good season all around. So yeah, I agree. Betts to the West final there.
If my reading is correct, the reason why Willie Jefferson didn't get a fair shake is because of the weed, which is a bullshit reason.
Yeah, that's too bad.
You're gonna give up on an athlete. I think this was the Chiefs that he was on actually. That's just, our blessing.
Yeah,
the CFL's blessing, not just ours. He had a great time in Edmonton and Saskatchewan. So
yeah, and he loves the league, man. So he probably looks back on it and says, "Yeah, I would probably love to play there," but it worked out well for him too.
He should totally be a face of the league. Like, come on, CFL marketing. Sergio Castillo had a great season. Thoughts on him getting that nomination? Will he move forward on the West?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll move on in this one. I think one of the receivers will probably end up getting it. Although the West does have a few kickers here, right?
Sean
White.
Yeah, he had a huge year.
So one of those guys, even Sean White, probably ends up making it there over Castillo even.
Yeah.
Great season for Castillo, no question. But
yeah,
Sean White was pretty money, actually.
Like, we were pretty calm in the seats with him taking field goals as compared to last year. No, I'm not going to poop on him. It's whatever. That's early, and he's had his successes in Hamilton for a bit. But I think Mario Alford, the returner, will get the special team nod. He's had a great year.
He didn't get nominated.
I thought he got nominated for Saskatchewan for their thing. Oh, it's a punter?
Yeah, Adam Korsak.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think media, you made a mistake. How is Mario Alford not have been nominated there, Saskatchewan? That's my bad. I thought it was Mario Alford.
Yeah, no. That's why even with Aaron Grant, if he doesn't end up getting hurt, he probably ends up being the Bomber nominee as well here, right?
That's ridiculous. Okay, I'll then segue into the rookie of the year. I was going to give that Korsak guy the nod there because he did have a better year than Sheehan. And they had a okay receiver in Calgary. I can't remember his name, and he had a few good returns, and he put up about 250 yards. Caleb something maybe. Any which way, Jamison Sheehan had a great year, but Korask in Saskatchewan had a better year.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's the Bombers really didn't have very many rookies here that could have been even qualifying really for this award, because not a lot of them got to play. Celestin Haba played a bit, right? Couple sacks, but yeah, I agree with the Sheehan one as well. But yeah, I don't believe he'll be representing the West.
Let's move on to the Calgary game. Which Bombers, who are not usually in the rotation, can you see having a big game?
I'm gonna go with Nick Hallett, who's gonna be filling in for Brandon Alexander here. He's always played well when he's come in, so this is his moment here to kind of shine and step up and kind of lead that defense and maybe show that, hey, he can do this. If for any reason Brandon Alexander decides to step away or doesn't end up getting, signed to a longer deal or anything like that. So I'd like to see him come out and kind of grab control of that D.
Yeah, I gave him a shout out for special teams a couple of weeks ago, but I think he played last week. Did he play last week as well on the defense? And he got into some action, didn't he? I can't remember. Had a few beers after that at that point. I'd like to see Celestin Haba shine against the Stamps. He has like 4 sacks in 7 games.
Yeah.
Calgary has a pretty good O-line. I think they're tied with the Bombers for the amount of sacks with 32. Toronto has only allowed 17 sacks all year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I'll take Celestin Haba maybe on the defense, and Johnny Augustine will probably have some opportunity to shine. And I think O'Leary Orange will have a good game. With the Lawler probably will not play the whole game, and O'Leary Orange might be the number 1 deep threat. So O'Leary Orange.
Yeah, and there's a couple guys who are in their first year that are getting some action here. Drew Richmond on the O-line. Not that I think they'll have a big game, but I'd like to see them, I like that they're getting this opportunity, and hopefully they can end up doing something. Even wide receiver Ravi Alston, first year in the league, first game that he's going to get to play. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited for these guys to get that chance.
Shoot, I'm excited to watch this game too.
Yeah, you get to see some different guys in there, right?
Yeah. So, Bomber strategies for the win.
I want to see Drew Brown slinging it all over the place. Get Oliveira his yards and all that stuff, but I would like to see Drew Brown get the opportunity to throw it around, get used to this offense a little bit more, just in case anything happens in the playoffs with Claros. At least Drew Brown goes into it feeling comfortable. So hopefully we see some offensive flair tomorrow.
Oof. I'd like to see that too. He didn't have a great game against Calgary last time.
Yeah.
Put up like 170 against him, I think, or something like that.
Oh, that was a field goal fest.
1918. Woof.
I just heard the one interception return too for the Bombers, right?
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
D-line domination. I'd like to see them get in Meyer's face and stop that running game.
Yeah.
It'll be tough because that D-line hasn't had a lot of snaps together. And D-line is, not as much, I think, as O-line, but still, they need to be able to read each other without saying it, just be able to play off each other. So, yeah, if they can get Calgary off that running game early, Meyer shows he's not the guy. I still don't believe he hasn't been the guy, but props to him. He hasn't thrown an interception in like a month or so. So
yeah.
don't sleep on him either.
That's what he's got to do. Game manager, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And make a few big plays especially if you have Beggleton in there. Just put the ball up in the air for that guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Offense, I think they have to get the running game going. The Calgary is the third worst rushing defense in the league. So they just got to feed Augustine, get Oliveira that 2,000 all-purpose, and just run it. Don't put too much playbook in the air. Don't show people too much.
That's the thing. The one thing I'm thinking too with Drew Brown slinging it, doing it's kind of a vanilla offense, right? Nothing too crazy. You're not, moving guys around. You're not running wide receivers and all like the Dembski plays and everything like that. Dembski's not playing anyways in this game, but yeah, keep it simple.
I'm still thinking about Mario Alford. Was he injured for something like that? Why wasn't he? Did he not play a full slate of games? I don't know.
I'm trying to think when I heard his name, like in the last, like I remember in the Labor Day game, he was really good. Then the Bombers shut him down at Banjo Bowl.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to remember after that if I kind of heard his name, and nothing's coming up.
Yeah, maybe that one game is just staying in my brain.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he must be the nominee. Any which way. What does Calgary have to do to beat the Bombers?
You just basically said it. Run the ball. Like you said, Jake Maier is not the guy to sling it around. Kadeem Carey's not playing in this one, but Mills and Logan are. So just pound that ball and run it. Because like you say, that Bomber front seven is basically all rookies or new guys, starting their first game. I think Malik Clements is in there. And he's really the only guy name that I recognize kind of in that starter position, right? So they'll have to attack that, and they should have a good opportunity to win this game.
I'm gonna be lazy and just flip flop it. The D line has to create pressure against the Bombers. Stanley Bryant is not playing. Like we mentioned earlier, they didn't allow Drew Brown to get comfortable and get into a rhythm like he did the week prior against the Elks when he went nuts. I totally thought he was going to kick Calgary's ass after that game. Yeah. And then Calgary just shut him down. They didn't let him get comfortable. They got to him about 4 times, I think. 3-4 sacks they got. But they just kind of mess with Drew Brown. He's not a huge quarterback. You don't want to see him run too much because, again, he's small. You don't want to see that guy getting hit. So, yeah, if the D-line can cause some trouble in the chaos on the line, I think they got it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how that O-line for the Bombers holds up.
Oh, boy. Hey, it's maybe a glimpse into the future.
Yeah.
A glimpse into the future. How many more years can Pat Neufeld play? And Jamarcus Hardrick and Stanley Bryant. Not saying that they're close to being done, but still, everyone, Mother Nature or whatever, undefeated.
Yeah, I'm surprised even that some of those guys are starting, like Gray or even Neufeld, really, and that Dobson's not starting or something in his place. But for now, it looks like Neufeld is starting. We'll see how long he plays. But
Tui,
yeah, Tui's in there, as a backup right now, anyways. But I'm sure these guys will get there. Get into the game at some point.
Yeah. Let's move on to quick and dirty predictions.
Yep.
Bombers Stamps. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Calgary just because they're at home. Bombers usually stink it up in Calgary, and there's just really nothing on the line here for either of these two teams. So I'll pick Calgary.
Yeah, I think the Stamps will win at home. They'll commit to that running game. The Bombers' offense will be stale. They won't get into the rhythm, and Stamps will finish at home.
Just hoping right now, get out of this game with no injuries anywhere. Really,
Oh,
that's it.
knock on wood,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
exactly.
Tie Cats, Owls, who you got?
I'm gonna go Montreal just because I think they want to keep that winning streak going against all the lower opponents or the worst teams in the league. Plus, I don't think they want to give Hamilton too much momentum going into that next week's game in Montreal for these semis. So Montreal.
I'll go Tie Cats on the road. Montreal doesn't have anything to play for right now. I think they won't be revealing too much. They'll hold their whatever hand close to them. And I think this Hamilton is still trying to find their rhythm with Bo Levi Mitchell and the receivers in the offense. So they'll probably use the snaps to get prepared. So I think Tie Cats on the road for this one. Argos Red Blacks. Red Blacks just don't have the horses. You know, we've seen that over the past couple of weeks, and Argos have depth to be competitive with the Bombers with some of their backups. So I think Argos on this one. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Argos as well. They'll end up getting win number 16. This is a tough game for Ottawa. You just came off. You were eliminated. You came off a bye. Now you got to play again this week. This week might show if they play hard how these guys want to play for Bobby Dice or how the season ends. But
Yeah,
it's going to be a tougher game for them to get motivated. Really. So Toronto for me as well.
shout out and thank you to Bobby Dice for coming out to check out the show that I was in at Prairie Theater Exchange.
Oh, right
To
on.
the audience, it was pretty awesome. Let's move on to some Winnipeg Jets talk brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice, pavement, or the field with a custom airbrush helmet or goalie mask. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions for any project. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204 891 7431. Tell them Ray and Benny sent you. Man, sometimes I want to say, come on down. Winnipeggers, if you know what I'm talking about. I know. But hey, that's crazy. Every time I drive by, it's burnt down.
Is it really?
Yeah. That like a whole section there of Maine that burnt to the ground. Yeah, it's a rubble now. They're clearing it out.
I didn't know they were part of that, actually.
Wow, we're getting diverted for Winnipeg talk, especially, but we're talking about Winnipeg
Still
Jets, so
talking
why
about
not?
stuff, yeah.
Exactly. Let's look back at the Blues game and the Red Wings game that just happened this evening. Let's start with the Blues. Solid win. Still some defensive issues. You know, we saw a couple giveaways that led to a couple breakaways.
Yeah.
But Hellebuck kind of getting into the groove with that game. So I don't know, man. They've kind of been playing solid all year, like you mentioned before.
Yeah, very good game. They outshot the Blues. They outplayed the Blues. The Blues only ended up 20 shots, but like you say, they had some quality chances because I don't know how many breakaways they had or partial breakaways even in this game. You know, but the Jets stood up. Helly stood up for it. And like you say, he's getting in his groove now. So it's good to see. And it was good to see other guys get on the board. David Gustafson scored his first goal in 5 years. Beautiful setup from Perfetti.
Nice.
I mean, he hasn't played much, you know, probably only like 50 games, but still, it's crazy. Still. And then Mason Appleton, you know, getting on the board too. Nice setup by Lowry. So good to see those guys chip in and the Jets dominate a division opponent.
My boy, Mason Appleton.
He's rolling.
I know. You got my text, Apple. I'm going to move a question up only because Nick Ehlers had one missed shot attempt as a stat for that whole game against the Blues. He did score against the Wings this evening. Is there concerns on your part on his slow start?
Yes, there is, but it's good to see him get that goal tonight, and maybe he's getting that monkey off his back. He was coming into this game only with 2 assists. He was a -3, only 10 shots on goal too over that span of the 6 games. So I expected big things at Ehlers. I made my predictions earlier. I thought he'd lead the team in scoring. That's not looking good so far. But again, 6 games in, good to see him score tonight. But they really need him to contribute more and finish more. And maybe it was because he didn't play in preseason, right? He sat out most of preseason. So maybe he's taking some time to get back into it and figure out, you know, how to play again kind of thing. So
yeah, maybe he's not even 100% still.
That too.
Who knows? But also keep in mind, he has also been a streaky scorer. Yeah. When they come in bunches hard, like lots. But then when it's dry, it's dry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is a new line, and they just did some schnaveling with the center and the wing. So let him settle in now. That wasn't even a word I just used.
Yeah, Chanel.
Chanelvalin. But it's now is a word now because
Now.
both you and I remembered it. That's awesome. Yeah, Ehlers. So I'm not as concerned.
Yeah.
If this progresses like 10 games into the season, and he's still stuck at this one goal and whatever many assists, then I'll be concerned. But right now, I'm not too concerned about Ehlers.
Yeah, now it's Nemestikov at center while it was Niederreiter on the wing, right? Before, right? So they switched that up a bit, yeah, like you said. So yeah, good to see him get one tonight. It was a nice one.
And I'm really liking these guys, Iafalo and Niederreiter playing. Well, Niederreiter was here last year at the end of the year, but Iafalo's really looking good. Like that guy's making opportunities. He's up and down the ice, fighting for the puck. What a great acquisition that guy is.
Yeah, so far with Velarde getting hurt, he's been the best one of that bunch that came over. But yeah, it's good to see him play. Every time he played for the Kings, he was always kind of playing hard. Like I used to hear his name constantly through a Jets game against the Kings and kind of hate the guy or whatever, right? But yeah, it's good to have on your team, and he's fit in well with Scheifele and Connor.
Yeah, no doubt, eh? Jeez. Red Wings? Should we move on to the Red Wings?
Yeah, good.
Was it last game that Kupari went nuts and went up and down the ice at the fastest clock time in the league so far this year?
Yeah, that was last game for sure.
Like that guy and Barron also playing. That's got to be encouraging for you because you were really concerned about the bottom six. And Kupari and Barron specifically have been great for the bottom six so far all year, not just the Blues game.
Yeah, and Barron ended up scoring last game, empty netter, but he ended up scoring. That's his second of the season. So yes,
sweet.
So far, those guys, like you say, your boy Appleton's chipping in. He scored another one tonight as well. Mm-hmm. So he's got a few goals. So yeah, that bottom six right now is doing a good job of helping those top two lines, especially when Ehlers, hadn't scored until now, kind of thing. So and then Niederreiter put in an empty net tonight as well. So
sweet.
You get to see some of these guys get going and different guys scoring because the Jets will need it.
It's a good sign to see Gustafsson out there late in the game to score. They trust him defensively. And then he put the empty netter in, which is good, man. That's depth on that team. So far, so good.
Yeah, it's too bad that once Velarde comes back, Gustafsson's probably the odd man out again.
Well, he's making a hard case, though, but it is pretty much, eh?
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have, but you don't want a player like that to get cold either.
No.
Shoot.
One thing with the Jets tonight, very good first period against Detroit. Outshooting them, outscoring them, and then they kind of sat back a little bit. There was times in this game that Detroit actually dominated and kept the Jets pinned in their own end, and Hellebuyck kind of stood on his head a little bit. Faced 35 shots to Reimer's 24 tonight. So, that was saved. So 36 shots total. But so great game by him to kind of keep the Jets in it because Detroit had some great opportunities.
Yeah, Hellebuyck had a great second and third.
Yeah.
Especially when coming out of the second. Detroit, like you said, came on hard. Well, any which way. Yeah, so they're looking. Why are you laughing? You know what I'm talking about. That's horrible, though. And their power play, penalty kill played good. And they had a scoring opportunity just after that. And I think it was Appleton also who was in the mix with that goal, man. With that opportunity, sorry to say.
Yeah, very good effort. And Cole Perfetti set up Ehlers today as well. So he's a few assists already on the season for him. Morrissey, I just realized this. So he's at 6 assists already so far. So another good start to him when everyone was expecting him to taper off quite a bit, right? Maybe he's not scoring the goals like he did early last season, but still in the mix for assists.
There's a great thing in the game today. I was watching the American feed of it. Sorry. So I don't even know who was doing the commentary. But they showed the way Morrissey works in the corner, especially against big guys, and how he uses his body and momentum to spin off of the guy and get onto the puck. It was amazing to watch that guy play. So my concerns about him being small still are there, but he's taking care of himself.
Yeah, he's learning how to play with it, right? He's making sure he knows what he's doing. Just talking about the way Detroit took over, 19 shots in that third period for Detroit. 19. And some really quality chances too. So.
They are still giving up a lot of those dangerous chances.
Yeah, they still haven't cleaned that up enough.
Appleton with a goal to get that 2-goal lead, that 3-1, and that's his second game in a row with a goal.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that jersey.
Yeah, you can't slag him now.
Shoot.
3 goals already on the season, man.
I'll have to wait on that Ford jersey for a while as well. Let's discuss the next two games. They got the Canadiens and Rangers, two original six teams, and of course the return of Wheeler. But let's start off with the Canadiens. Impressive with this young team at 3-2-1. But if the Jets continue to play like they played, especially the last two games, I think they'll take care of the Canadiens.
Yeah, I agree as well there. The one thing that concerns me is always when they go to Montreal, or the majority of the time in Montreal, they seem to struggle and not play well, no matter how much better they are than Montreal. But penalty kill, power plays, looking at both these teams are pretty similar. Their numbers are pretty much the same. For Montreal, though, this will be their fourth game of the week. So they may be, a little bit tired at the end of it. So hopefully the Jets can take this one in Montreal. And it sounds like Brossoit is starting.
Okay. And how about the Rangers, who I think, I don't know who's starting in that one, but it'd be nice if it wasn't Shesterkin. He's 3-1 with a 1.54 and a 9.57 against the Jets. Save percentage 9.57, 1.54 goals against average. But what are your thoughts on that game with your boy coming back to town?
Blake Wheeler coming back to town. So that'll be an interesting one. He'll obviously get his cheers at the video tribute part. I'm sure there's no one going to be booing him like they did PLD or anything like that. So
No.
So for the Rangers, it's the end of a 5-game road trip through the West. Started in Seattle, playing every Canadian team. So far, they were 2-0, playing the Rangers, I believe, tonight. So they may be done and tired by the end of it. So this is a great opportunity for the Jets to pounce on that, because they're going through different time zones as well for each one of them. I think they were in Seattle, then Edmonton, then Calgary, then back to Vancouver, then to Winnipeg. So it'll be an interesting one. But like you say, a good start for the Rangers on the season. They're 3-1 on the road. 2 games where they gave up a bunch of goals, but other than that, they've been pretty stingy. So, and power play is at 30% so far.
Miney scored a couple goals in Winnipeg.
Miney, yeah.
Dubois scored that first goal.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Wheeler is going to score as well. And his line has not scored a 5-on-5 goal yet.
No, and he has no points yet.
No, they're reducing his time, especially in the third period, because apparently, or maybe speculatively, his defensive game is lacking.
What?
So yeah, I think the Jets' chances depends, like I said earlier, who's in net. Well, not just that. Hellebuck has to play well too.
Yeah,
because that's going to be a fight. That's a good team.
Yeah, they got firepower, right? I'm assuming after Brossoit starts on Saturday, Hellebuck's starting this one. So
yeah,
they got some firepower. Panner and all those guys, man. It's not going to be an easy game. It'll be tough. Rangers games are always tough, but like they're at the end of that road trip, so maybe that'll help the Jets.
Is Trouba injured? Like, why haven't we talked about that dude?
No, as far as I know, he's still in there, but
so they got to deal with him and Adam Fox. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's a good team. And they're up 2-0 on the Rangers, or on the Oilers right now. So,
well, the Oilers don't have Connor McDavid still, right?
No, they don't.
And they don't have a goalie either.
That team, those guys, those fans are gonna riot soon.
Oh, who's their GM again?
Holland.
Old school.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
How long till Woodcroft's on the hot seat there? Can't be much longer, right? Not that he should be, but Edmonton, man.
The talent there is, oh man, any which way. Not like we don't have our own issues in Winnipeg. Sure. Let's talk about Mark Chipman, the interview that he had with oh my goodness, the guy from
Darren Dreger.
Yeah, Darren Dreger. Thank you very much. Working for a bigger network now, but what are your thoughts on that? The words he said, the info that he shared or didn't share?
I like it. I like the way he handled it. Kind of stepped back a little bit from that, whatever they sent out in spring, the threatening kind of stuff. And I think they realized they probably took the wrong step there and realized where people are at right now with money-wise, cost of things and everything like that. And they had to see the big picture, right? But it sounds like the team is stable. It's way different than back in '96 or anything like that. So the issues of relocation are not there at this moment. And if this carries on for 5 years, maybe it'll be different. But like he said in that interview, not on their watch. So as long as he's owning his team, it's staying in Winnipeg, and they'll do everything to make it work. And they realize, I like kind of stuff. Like he mentioned how selling the tickets. You sold it quickly to fans. So the fans kind of took it, and that took away from any corporate, besides the boxes buying, right? So now they got to focus on that and get some businesses in there that can help support more of these ticket sales and go from there.
Yeah, I that's a thing. Like, yes, they got to get corporate sponsorship and support, but when you look at the lower bowl, that's pretty packed. What big time companies want to give their clients tickets in the 300 section? You know what I'm saying? It's not like Toronto where there's plentiful room, where even when you're in the 200s, you're in a pretty nice seat. So I think a lot of Winnipeggers just got to realize this is the whatever the finances of an NHL team because they aren't going anywhere. Like I said a couple weeks ago, Chipman is building up downtown. He's building towers there. There's going to be hotels there. Like he's invested in downtown, and the centerpiece is Canada Life Center. And Canada Life Center is not a seller without an NHL team. So the fans got to realize that's the economics. That's the word I was looking for of the NHL. I agree that maybe our combined prices for a ticket and a beer should be closer to Ottawa's because they're like 35 something dollars. And we're closer to Vancouver, who's like at 75, 76. But at the same time, you can go online to like whatever app and get a ticket for 35, $60 and get yourself a beer and have a good pregame like I do, and eat at McDonald's so you don't have to spend $100. So be economic about it if you can't afford to do the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think we got to
it's
step up too as fans.
for sure. And like, years ago, people would have been going to 7 to 10 games, right? Now maybe
Yep.
they're going to 1 or 2 because that's all they can afford, and things in their life have changed. Speaking of buying cheaper tickets online, there's still someone who say paid $100 for that ticket who now have to sell it for 30 or 40, and so they're losing money. So next year when they come up to renewal, they're going to be like, you know what? I'll just go to the games I can go to. I'm not going to do season tickets because they were too hard to sell. So now you've lost another guy, right? So yeah, they'll have to figure this out, and see. Obviously, the prices aren't going to drop. It's not like
No,
they're going to go back down at this point. So
no.
they'll have to figure it out. I know they've got lots of deals going on this year, and if they continue to win, by Christmas, people will start showing up more and more.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people are getting through pandemics. A lot of people are still pissed off about all the rules from before and all that stuff. So,
I'd say get over that. We're
yes,
moving on as a
exactly.
society. Stop it. And also the city of Winnipeg. If y'all would invest in some decent transit that people would want to ride, where it takes like 25 to 20 to get somewhere close to the perimeter and it's clean, then people would take transit. Then they wouldn't have to pay 20, 25 bucks for parking. Our
Yeah.
transit is trash here. So if
Oh yeah.
Winnipeg would invest in that and it make, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah.
hey, you and I took transit to games when we were drunk because we didn't care.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do that as a family member.
No.
You want something nice and clean. Go to Toronto. It's great to take the subway to a game and you're home
Oh
like
yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
Winnipeg, invest in transit. Do your part as well. I'm not going to put it all on Chipman. Here I go. Here I go. One more subject. Shane Pinto suspension. I almost got into politics there.
Yeah.
I almost called out a politician. Shane Pinto suspension. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah, you go first while I calm down a bit.
Yeah, wow. 41 games suspension, violating league gambling rules. Not accused of wagering on any NHL games. Doesn't really say exactly what he did, but it sounds like maybe he was a third party in something, or something called proxy betting or whatever. So it must, whatever happened had to have been really bad, because he's not appealing it. The NHLPA negotiated this ban and is not appealing anything less than that. So whatever it was pretty bad. But I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
For sure. Gambling is a huge part of the NHL's business. And when someone is gambling and has no relevance on the game, it has no effect on the game, the NHL, and it's not against the law, the NHL needs to shut up and just mind their own business.
It all depends what it is, right? Because they're obviously not telling us. So it has to be for the player and
It's
the
not
NHL.
NHL related though.
Well, it has to be some kind
But
of
if it's through
roundabout way
like
to it or something.
if it's like an illegal bookie or something, yes, the league doesn't want to look bad. It's criminal. If it's
Yeah.
illegal, yes, but if it's not illegal gambling, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's
Well,
like saying
yeah.
like Coke is a major sponsor. You're gonna tell your athletes, oh, you can't drink Coke because you're supposed to be fit. No, man, that's ridiculous.
It's got to be something, man. There's no way the NHLPA and him agreed to a 41 game suspension like this if it wasn't worse than what we're kind of thinking, right? That's a hit on his career. He's still a young guy.
Yeah.
And he was going for a contract here right now too with Ottawa, right? So
Shoot.
I don't know if we'll ever learn exactly what it was, but and it can be good. So, but like you say, and other people that have mentioned it, you get less for a hit to the head than you do for gambling.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Ill effects to another human being for their life, maybe.
Yeah.
And you get 3 games.
Yeah. And even if you're a repeat offender, you get 4 games.
Yeah. Yeah. Gambling on other sports, half a season. Marijuana, get out of here.
That's the NFL. Marijuana, go. But if you gamble, you're gone for a year. Calvin Ridley.
Now you can smoke a little bit of marijuana.
Can you?
Yeah. Smoke that little bowl on the day off. But drink a lot of water and pee.
Yeah, there you go.
Or do that clean test or whatever it is.
The Wizinator.
Oh, remember him? He was about to play Ontario Smith?
Yeah.
He was about to play for the Bombers, and didn't he have that in his bag?
Yeah.
Clown show. Was that before or after the Bombers supposedly signed Adam Pac-Man Jones?
Oh, geez. I think it was that had to have been that had to have been after, yeah. After, yeah.
In the words
they would have learned
Archie
their lesson
Bunker, those were the days. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
Jeez. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Thank you to Fahrenheit Airbrushing, and have a good weekend.
Am I going to get canceled for just quoting Archie Bunker? Get out of here. In the famous words of somebody, because I forget their name, football, a sport that bears the same relation to education that bullfighting does to agriculture. Oh, I don't even get that quote.
That's interesting, man.
Let's go, LeVar Burton. We'll see you next time.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.